5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thunderbirds are go.
Who are the real stars of Thunderbirds? And of course, I immediately think of Jeff Tracy and the boys, Lady Penelope and Parker. But for many people, the real star of the shows were the machines. Let me start with Thunderbird 5. This was in permanent orbit and would receive the distress call.
Calling International Rescue. This is Sir William Fraser of the British Security Service. Codename 2-1. We need your help.
Go ahead, 2-1. What's your problem?
Whatever language, whatever part of the world, it would receive the call and relay it to the Pacific Island base of International Rescue.
Nothing like fishing to relax the mind.
And the body, if you're any example.
Hey, Alan, I've got a bite.
Play it for a while, Tintin. Give it more line.
Emergency call. Return to base immediately. I'm briefing Scott and Virgil now.
I'll start the engines.
Bring in your catch, Tintin.
Yes, Gordon. I think it's a big one this time.
It really is a big one this time, boys.
You have to remember that Thunderbirds was made 62, 63, and the world was on the verge of atomic war. And so American and British pilots were literally sitting in their cockpits.
You heard the details?
You've got just 2.5 hours.
And so I had this heavily on my mind, and I thought, well, if we're going to organize a rescue organization where people that are running out of time are going to be rescued, then we better devise a way of getting the pilots aboard as quickly as possible.
Thunderbirds are go.
International rescue from Thunderbird 1. Changing to horizontal flight.
This craft used to travel at 15,000 miles an hour and get to the danger zone as quick as possible, where Scott would set up a mobile headquarters and radio back all the details of the disaster.
And that allows for no setbacks.
Go ahead, Scott.
Okay, Father, I'm here, and I'm set up.
In the case of Thunderbird 2, Virgil would go down this wonderful children's slide towards Thunderbird 2. I always remember that he went head first from the lounge, and I thought, well, that's no good, I've got to turn him around somewhere. So we had to put in this little turntable to turn him around. And then, of course, he would go down the extended chute and go into the top of the flight deck, straight into the chair, which would then fold up and form around him. Thunderbird 2 was the heavy cargo ship and carried all the heavy equipment. Then cliff face would drop, Thunderbird 2 would roll out onto its little runway, the palm trees would fold back to make room for its wings, and it would lumber off and travel at a much slower speed to the disaster area. For me, I think Thunderbird 2 was always the favourite. I liked its bulkiness, I liked the wings pointing forward. I liked the pod system. All of this, incidentally, was developed by Derek Meddings.
Mobile control, this is Thunderbird 2 approaching danger zone.
Thunderbirds are go.
I think many children used to wait until Thunderbird 2 arrived at the disaster, and then it would stand up on its stilts, the magic moment would come, the door would open, and a new and different machine would drive out and demonstrate its abilities. I suppose in a way, it was always the machine of the week. When I think about the pods and the number of missions flown by Thunderbird 2, I suppose for me the best piece of equipment that it ever carried was the elevator cars used in Trapped in the Sky to save Fireflash from crash landing.
Are you ready, Virgil?
Mobile control and Fireflash. This is Thunderbird 2. I'm ready. Fireflash from Thunderbird 2. Cut engines. Okay, Fireflash, reverse thrust.
They made it. They made it. Jolly good show, old boy.
And what a show.
Thunderbirds are go. The thing that matters is that we're the only ones with any hope of saving that guy in space. Alan, take
And of course, when there was a problem in space,
left it late. But
it was Thunderbird 3.
Okay, away you go.
In the case of Thunderbird 3, we had the business of the settee, which would retract into the ground and very cunningly be replaced by a replica, just in case somebody happened to walk into the room. And then they were transported into the hangar, and they were thrust up from below on the end of a giant hydraulic ram straight into the flight deck.
Stand by for blastoff. Liftoff.
Thunderbird 4 was the little yellow submarine, no connection with the Beatles, but this craft was able to carry out underwater rescues.
Thunderbird 2 from Thunderbird 4. Okay, Virgil. Release sealing device. Now. Cutting buoyancy compensators. Now. Great. She's sinking. Submerging, Virgil.
FAB, Thunderbird 4. Good luck.
position, releasing tow cable and activating downward thrust outlets. Firing rocket clamps. Now. Rocket clamps in position.
FAB, Gordon. Now the compression valves.
Mobile base from Thunderbird 4. Fire is extinguished.
Great.
FAB, return to Thunderbird 2 and base.
Thunderbirds are go.
Many times when I'm being interviewed, people say to me, who thought of this machine? Who invented that machine? And I either say myself, and it was enhanced by Derek Meddings, also a man by the name of Mike Trim, who used to do some wonderful design work. But in reality, as we all know, the real designer was Brains.
Raymond, I'm gonna test your secretarial characteristics. Now, tell me, what are my appointments for the day?
9 a.m. monitor electronic telecast from Cape Kennedy. 11 a.m. check Thunderbird 2 alarm systems. 1 p.m. have supper.
Gee, Brains, your robot is sure improving nicely.
Yeah, Scott, but he's still late with his responses, I'm afraid.
Yeah, well, what I came to say was when you're through, there's a very interesting program about the sun probe on the air.
Oh, dear. Bremen, you have such a lot to learn still. Perhaps if I taught you chess, it might...
When we first started making the series, and therefore designing all the craft, I insisted that my friend Brains here put in lots and lots of hatches on all the craft. And this was because at that time, we probably only had 6 scripts written. And I knew that as the series progressed, we would suddenly want Thunderbird 2 to produce a rocket launcher or another device for throwing a grappling hook or a lifting device or whatever. And the same with Thunderbird 1 and Thunderbird 4. And so he fortunately put on all these little hatches, and as each script came in, where there was a requirement for a new piece of weaponry, we would simply select a hatch that had not been used before, and then cut to a close-up, open it up, and out would come whatever it was that we wanted for that particular episode.
Thunderbirds are go.
During the whole of the 32 episodes of Thunderbirds, Thunderbird 2 and Thunderbird 1 were only shot down once. But of course it does bring up the question of how did they repair them?
How's it going, Brains?
Well, slowly, Tintin. It's gonna take some time.
boy, what a mess.
Once the new components arrive, we'll have to work round the clock to get her right.
Well, this is the tricky part of our operation. Trying to keep everything secret.
Look, Scott, we order each component from different aircraft corporations. None of them know what they're making. It's only when they all arrive here that the jigsaw fits together.
I guess I worry too much.
Thunderbirds was an extremely difficult series to make. Added to that, the crews were always trying to make the next episode better than the last, which is fine, because that's really what made the series what it was. But as the producer, it caused me problems because the series fell behind schedule. And somehow I had to gain 2 weeks. And I remember that I had the idea of a little boy who would stow aboard Thunderbird 2 when they were on a rescue mission, and he would fly back as a stowaway to the base.
Okay, Virgil, release the pod and open the flap. There's a saboteur on board.
A saboteur?
All right. We know you're in there. Come on out, or we're going to blast you out.
Don't shoot. Please don't shoot.
Jeff Tracy was absolutely furious, and he told the boys to keep this little chap occupied so that he wouldn't get in the way and so that he wouldn't find out any of their secrets.
Anybody got any bright ideas? No bright ideas? Okay, where's the boy now?
Now, Virgil's taking care of him.
And I hope Virgil's keeping his mouth shut.
It's enormous. Is this the machine you fly, Virgil?
Oh, look, Chip, we've got very strict security here. I can't tell you anything.
Of course, I understand. You know, when I grow up, I want to be a member of International Rescue, except I'd like to fly Thunderbird 1.
Why Thunderbird 1?
Well, I imagine it's faster and more important.
More important? Oh, look, without Thunderbird 2, none of the rescues would be possible.
But in the event, each pilot was so proud of his particular craft that the little boy kind of extracted from them the full story.
Gosh, I wish I'd been there.
Oh, Virg, Father wants to have a word with you in the lounge.
Oh, thanks. You take care of Chip, will you, fella?
Thanks.
I liked Virgil. He told me all about Thunderbird 2.
Oh, he did he? Well, he shouldn't have. I'll tell you something, young fella. You'll get nothing out of me about Thunderbird 3.
So you're the pilot of Thunderbird 3? I suppose being a spaceman, you don't get so involved in the rescue operations.
Not so involved? Let me tell you, young fella, when this baby blasts out into space, I'm the one that's in charge.
Ah, there you are, Chip. Hey, Alan, Father would like a word with you.
Alan, how's the kid?
Fine. I left him in Thunderbird 3 silo with Scott.
Thunderbird 3 silo with Scott? And what was he doing there?
Well, you see, Father...
Yeah, I know. You didn't tell him a thing. Well, at least he's with Scott now. He won't get anything out of him.
Gosh, Thunderbird 1. This is certainly a great machine.
Yeah, I thought you'd like it. Gee, I remember the first time I sat there on our first mission. You see, my brother John radioed in from the space station to say that Tintin's aircraft, the Firefly, had been sabotaged and couldn't land because a bomb had been placed in the landing gear.
Wow, that must have been exciting. I could picture the whole thing.
You could? Well, you just keep it to yourself, eh, fella?
Oh, of course. Now all that's left is Thunderbird 4. Gosh, I really am looking forward to seeing that.
Hey, not so fast. You hold on, young fella. You've been told too much already. And there's no good looking disappointed. The answer is no. Absolutely, definitely no.
So this is Thunderbird 4. It's quite small compared with the others.
Maybe it is. But it's a very necessary part of international rescue.
Yeah, but I suppose you're only involved in underwater rescues, like when someone's trapped in a submarine. That can't happen very often.
Look, Chip, I'm involved in all types of rescues.
Unfortunately, I can't tell you about them.
Hey, I remember, like that one at Allington Bridge.
You remember that? Oh, yeah. That sure was a tough one.
Look, Alan, I tell you, Father's really blowing his top.
Well, don't look at me like that. Who showed him round Thunderbird 1? By the way, where's the kid now?
Fellas, just take a look at this.
Of course, a rescue operation of that size takes quite a lot of organizing.
And you control everything from here.
Yep, that's right. I control the whole works from here. I've only got to push one of these buttons, and it's Thunderbirds are go.
Unfortunately, at the end of the episode, he woke up in his own bed, thinking that he had dreamed the whole thing, and so there were no secrets leaked after all.
Mr. Tracy? Oh, it's you, Dad.
Hi, son. Just come in from the mine. That international rescue team were fantastic.
Yeah. I know, Dad, and you should see their base and the Thunderbird machines. Wow!
You been dreaming again, Chip?
I suppose so, Dad. But it seems so real.
Yeah. Dreams often seem just like the real thing.
Thunderbirds are go.
And then, of course, there's one machine that we couldn't possibly forget. Fab 1, Lady Penelope's Rolls-Royce. Approved by Rolls-Royce Motors, designed by Derek Meddings, this wonderful car with 4 front wheels and painted in shocking pink had every device that one could wish for. A machine gun that fired through the radiator, a headlight that would retract and be replaced by a cannon, grappling irons, oil slicks, you name it, that car had it.
Well, there's no doubt they mean business. I must try to lose them. Their car must be fitted with radar-assisted steering. I'll have to try something else.
Get his car under control. I'm using some machine gun.
Oh dear, like Fab 1, their car must have retractable studs fitted to the tires. I had hoped I wouldn't have to go to the ultimate lengths. But they leave me no choice. Parker will have us out of here in no time.
I say, open this door at once. We're British.
Come in, Parker. Come in, Parker. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Keep a lookout for a stranger leaving the building, probably wearing a green jacket.
Yes, milady. He's just leaving the building. Going in pursuit now.
No, Parker. I think you better come and get us out of this dungeon first.
It's no use. We're well and truly trapped. Just in time. Are you all right, Penelope?
Yes, perfectly. I knew Parker wouldn't let us down.
Sorry to keep you waiting, milady.
Miss Freddy. She's good.
Calling International Rescue. International Rescue. Come in, please. It must be the storm in the mountains. I can't make contact. Now, let me think. Somewhere free from interference. Yes, of course.
But perhaps the most exciting feature was its hydrofoils.
I've heard of pink elephants, but a pink Rolls Royce out at sea, driven by Marie Antoinette, is ridiculous.
Calling International Rescue.
Come in, Penny.
I'm calling from Monte Bianco. We're going to need you, Jeff, and quickly.
Thunderbirds are go.
Many of the villains in the series came up against International Rescue's London agent, Lady Penelope Crichton Ward, and in most cases she proved to be, much to their surprise, more than a match for them.
Great, Selston, you did it. Gee, what? Right. Let me open her up. Jacob, look at that.
They're going to take my jewels.
That would seem to be the intention, milady.
Parker, we must stop them.
Okay, let's beat it.
Come on. Get on.
Okay, let's hit the road. Get out.
Parker, get the tires.
The car's knocked out.
What are we gonna do, Harry?
Quick, the garage. They're bound to have an automobile there.
They're headed for Fab 1, milady.
Yes, so I see, Parker. Well, I'm afraid that won't do them much good. Now, what do you suppose that was?
Well, it appears they have gained access to the Rolls Royce, milady.
Oh, dear. I just hope they don't scratch the paintwork. I'm off to Ascot in the morning.
You don't want me to shoot out the Rolls Royce, do you, milady?
No, Parker. For one thing, you wouldn't succeed. And for another, there's no need.
It's that Dame. She's got this car on remote control. She's locked the wheel.
Well, I think we can go back to bed now, Parker.
But, milady, what about the visitors?
Oh, we can forget all about them till the morning, Parker. They'll still be around.
him, milady?
Yes, and it looks as if he's got the croupier with him. Come on.
It looks as if they're gaining on us.
Never mind. I shall be ready for that.
Pathetic, isn't it, milady?
Quite, Parker. Now try to get his tires first. We may as well attempt to reason with him.
Now all we have to do is escape to safety. And that should be quite a simple matter.
When I made him shortcuts.
Thunderbirds are go.
Now, to make sure that no one takes photographs of Thunderbird 1. Except me, of course.
The automatic camera detector, quick! Someone's photographing the instrument panel of Thunderbird 1. It's imperative that you get this man and stop him.
Airport police, this is the control tower. Someone is taking photographs inside the international rescue aircraft. Grab him and bring him in for questioning.
Mobile Control calling International Rescue, England.
International Rescue. Lady Penelope speaking.
Require your assistance. Man with photographic records of Thunderbird 1 proceeding along M1 motorway in your direction. Car registration 695 CMO. Over.
Mobile Control. FAB.
You called, milady?
Yes, Parker. Get the Rolls Royce. We are going for a little drive.
We're closing in on him, milady.
Good, Parker. Wait till we get to a clear stretch of road. We don't want to create a scene.
Very good, milady.
Go ahead, Parker.
Yes, milady.
Well done, Parker.
Thank you, madam. Home, milady?
Home, Parker.
My pictures, they are ruined. Someone will pay for this. International Rescue haven't heard the last of me.
Thunderbird Thunderbirds are go.
Enjoying the ride, Mole?
Can't say as I am. Why do you want to drive so fast, sir?
At last, a stretch of clear road. No crazy road hogs getting in the way of my beautiful wagon. All right, baby, here we go. That's my baby! That's my baby!
Dang it. We're going to be late for that there appointment with Lady Penelope. I'm sorry, Ma, but I'm just going to have to use the supercharger.
I don't believe it. I just don't
The series was staged in 2063, so of course there was plenty of scope for imagination.
Thunderbirds are go.
There was an episode called Path of Destruction, and this featured one of my favourite machines. It was called the Crab Logger. Gigantic machine on tracks, with two huge claws on the front, and it could literally grab a tree and pull it out of the ground just like it was plucking a radish. And it was used in context with the story, obviously to clear, say, a path through a forest, or maybe a new road to be laid. It had a crew aboard. It was atomic powered. Another remarkable machine from Thunderbirds was called the Sidewinder.
Just look at that thing. It's like a monster from another planet.
Yep. Nothing can stand in his way.
This was rather like a gigantic metal ant, and the idea was that it was a troop carrier. It could probably carry 100 soldiers over very, very harsh terrain.
Sidewinder to Copter Watchdog. Jungle test complete. How did she look from up there, General? She looked just fine, sweetie. What a machine.
Thunderbirds are go.
There were, of course, a huge number of gadgets that were produced for Thunderbirds. And I remember one in particular that really appealed to me, and that was in a film called The Cham Cham. The sequence was Lady Penelope and Tintin skiing. And it was fine when they were skiing downhill because they had their sticks under their arms and they just remained in a skiing position and down they went. That was wonderful.
We're nearly there. What's that machine he's working at?
I don't know. Some kind of electronic computer.
Did you get a close-up on it?
I certainly did. He's just been giving his orders for the next sabotage operation. Come on. We've got to warn
When it came to skiing uphill, there was a problem. Clearly the puppets could not do this kind of action. And so I came up with the idea of using a thruster pack, which they wore like a haversack.
Right. Ski thrust on.
Sabotaging the transporter planes.
Good work, Penny. Brains, are you there? I want you up here right away.
I'm on my way.
Okay, Penny. We gotta work fast.
Right. Now Tintin's going to show you some of the evidence. Go ahead, Tintin. Now, this, of course, was after that machine of his had done the translating for him.
That's it? Oh, of course. Why didn't I think of it before?
Think of what, Brains? What are you talking about?
That's it. It's a Cham Cham.
A Cham Cham?
What's a Cham Cham, Brains?
A Cham Cham is a new electronic machine that is sensitive to ultrasonic harmonics and microtones. Oh, of course. Now that I know the technique they've been using, I'll soon break their code.
I was able to let my imagination run riot, and with the aid of many of the technicians in the special effects department, we created some wonderful machines that used to literally litter the series.
International rescue boys sure have some great equipment.
what's up, kiddo? I'm pooped, that's what's up. Well, well. You go for a short sprint round the island, you come back exhausted. You're not fit, that's the trouble with you.
A kid like you ought to be able to take things like that in his stride.
I don't get it. You fellas sit around all day waiting for the next meal, and you have the nerve to tell me I'm not fit.
All right, boys, that will do. I know all this waiting between operations is killing, but we'll get a call for help soon enough, you'll see.
Oh, I wish now I'd gone to England with brains to watch that Martian probe take off.
Well, I gave you the chance. Why, Grandma. Grandma, what's the matter?
Oh, dear. I've lost my personal edible transmitter. The one with the nice raspberry flavor that I like.
That's serious. They're for use in emergency when anyone's captured and can't contact base.
I remember seeing it on the kitchen shelf while I was fixing the apple pie for lunch, but now... Oh, dear, it's gone.
And one of us is eating it. Is that what you're trying to say, Grandma?
Yes, Scott. That's it exactly.
But that's ridiculous. We always know when we've eaten our edible transmitters.
Not necessarily. Not now that Brains has been able to make them really small.
Well, I had a light lunch before going training, so I kind of eaten Grandma's transmitter.
Well, we've got to find out who has eaten it, or it might be blocking other signals. So, Grandma, you go and mix up some of that transmitter dissolver that Brains left the recipe for.
All right, Jeff. Oh, dear, I'm awfully sorry. Oh, why don't I watch what I'm doing? What a terrible thing to happen.
What's this about a transmitter dissolver?
You mean it's some kind of medicine?
Yeah. But first we got to find out who's got the transmitter inside them.
Well, that means that one of us here in this room has swallowed the transmitter.
That's right, Scott. So you go to your room and we'll see what happens.
Yes, Father.
If you boys took the trouble to chew your food properly, we wouldn't have had this trouble.
The light hasn't moved, Father. And Scott has left the room, so he can't have eaten it.
All right, Gordon, you're next. You go to your room. Either you or Virgil has eaten the transmitter.
Oh, but Father, I'd know if I'd eaten a transmitter.
Go to your room, Gordon, and let's have no more of this childishness. All right, Virgil, it's you who ate it. Go to your room, and I'll send the medicine to you there.
But, Father...
Go ahead, Virgil. The trouble in this place is you boys don't get enough to do.
Father?
What now?
Father, the signal.
Grandma said to bring this in, Mr. Tracy. Who should I give it to?
All right, Tintin. I'll go quietly. Thunderbirds are go.
Tell me, my boy, how long have you had this desire to talk to watches? Now, try not to be afraid. I think I can help you.
Mr. Corder?
Yes?
I called about...
Ah, yes. You must be the person who telephoned. A sad case.
Come along, my dear. I'm here to take you home.
Oh, but I really recommend treating...
I'm afraid it's a hopeless case. Here, this should cover all your expenses. He's being treated by 10 of the best doctors in Europe. We really wouldn't like to tie up any more. Ready? Then come along, my poor darling.
Oh, but, madam, if you'd just listen...
Oh, thanks, Lady Penelope.
Think nothing of it, dear boy. Parker's outside. I won't be a minute. Hello, Scott? Yes, I've got him. We'll be straight home.
Watches? Now powder compacts? Perhaps it's me. Perhaps I should see a psychiatrist.
Go ahead, Scott.
ahead, Mr. Tracy, sir.
There must be 200,000 animals on that station.
200,007, sir.
Okay, Scott. Good luck.
Okay, fellas, down you go.
Oh, Brains, you old son of a gun.
This is Parker calling Fab 1.
Come in, Parker. Come in, Parker. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
With Thunderbird 2 and the equipment I think you might need. He'll meet you at Ahmedabad.
Very well then, Jeff. Over and out.
International Rescue here. Jeff Tracy speaking.
Okay, I'll get it.
Hey, Scott! What are you doing?
What's Dad calling us? Well, what's the matter with you, Brains?
Oh, nothing. It's just that if you're gonna start talking to teapots, there's a guy I think you ought to see.